And today was, when I woke up, I was thinking all about the fact that how we are water-filled beings, and yet sometimes we feel like, you know, it's like we're wooden, you know, and sometimes even the movement practices that people say, it's like so wooden, you know, see them on the treadmill, We're not wooden beings, we're filled with water. And where we get into difficulties is when we don't have enough water in the body, and that doesn't just mean taking it in, but we actually hydrate the tissues through movement, and specifically this kind of movement that we are doing nowadays, which is fascial work. So today we're going to be water-filled beings. So imagine yourself like you're filled with water. You're like one big water balloon, if you like. And so we're going to embrace the element of water. We're going to still do our little Elysium sequence, but we're going to add into that today. So by the end of this week, you'll have quite a nice little sequence that you can do any time. So finding your seat to start with. I'm going to let you just find your breath and then actually tune in to the sound of the water behind me. So just breathe in deeply and slowly, allowing the breath to be like a wave. And as you tune into the sounds of the water, if you can't quite hear it, then just imagine a body of water. And imagine that body of water within you. And as we start to move this morning, imagine it is like a whole body of water within you moving around. So let's circle around the sit bones. When we move in a way that it just is quite wooden, or we create too much strain, what it does is it tightens and dehydrates the tissues. But when we move in a nice soft, but kind of intentional way like this, it doesn't mean to say that it's completely floppy, but in a nice soft way, what happens is it hydrates the tissues, it puts the water back in. Start to feel that lovely sense of you being a water being. I know many of you like me that love the water and feel at home in the water. And there's probably a reason for that, is that because our bones, you know, we started, bones came from the water. And let's change over the cross of the legs and go in the other direction. Doesn't it feel nice to move? So it's the best time of day to get your movement practice in first thing, so that we can hydrate the body. And you might find yourself instinctively, like I just felt like massaging the knees as I moved there. See, there's a part of the body that just feels like it wants a little bit of loving this morning. Move like the waves. Body actually, the way it naturally moves. Not all wooden, two-dimensional, not like this. It works in arcs, in waves, and in spirals, just like everything else in nature, for we are creatures of nature. Now let's come to a stop. Let's take the legs behind and come and sit onto the knees. Now, if you've been doing Soma dance with me, you might have maybe done this, or you'll have done this with me before. So it's a spiral wave. So you're just going to sit back onto the heels. And we're going to start just by leaning forward and then rolling the shoulders back. Leaning forward and rolling the shoulders back. Take my scarf off. So I'm just showing you from the side, but you can stay facing forwards. As you lean forward, see what happens. You kind of round as you go back. And the head comes under, it tucks under. See how that starts to, this gets the fluid going up the spine, which is really, really important, not just for our physical well-being, but also for our mental and emotional well-being. We want that, if you just want to see it on a very crude physical level, it's just the blood, oxygen and nutrients being able to travel up the spine to feed the brain. But also connects with our central nervous system going up the spine, a whole control highway. Now, can we do this the other way? Here's the question. So this time we'll go going forward, kind of the chin leads, and then the wave goes in the other direction. And move the shoulders as well. You'll see the whole body kind of finds this, its own wave. We'll be doing this is also called fascial unwinding. We'll be doing a lot of this in yoga tonight. And now come to a stop. Let's just drop the chin to the chest and just take the head and roll it side to side. Nice and gently. Just notice if you're holding on to any tension there. When you find a place where the body feels stiff, that's because usually the tissues are dehydrated. So we want the fascia is like this chewing gum in the body. When it loses its water, it gets all hardened. So we add the water back in through movement. Okay, now let's come on to the hands and knees. I'm going to work with a little spinal wave from here. It's one of my favourite movements, which some of you have done with me. So we tuck the toes under, we sit back onto the heels. Then, as if pushing the fingertips towards the front of the mat, draw the belly and tuck the chin, and we wave forward. So rounded as we come forward. Then we start to drop the belly, lift the tailbone, and lift the head as we come back. So we come back with an extended spine, and then we start to we round as we come forward. And the elbows soften to allow this wave to happen. Now, if this is the first time you've done this, it can take a little while to get used to it. So just bear with it. Just keep going. Try to relax with it. And just see how the body wants to move. It's so good for the spine. Now, this is going to be an option for you to stick with today. I'm also going to give you an option to make this a little bit tougher. Let's take a couple more. So we're going to build on this. We're going to tuck the toes now and sit back and just call this chewing the gum, this bit. Sit back. You can imagine it happening, can't you? And it just makes sense. Chewing the gum. Sit and press back. Now spread out the fingers. Hug the muscles onto the bones. So try and get that sensation in your palms, hugging the muscles into the bones. Push down into the earth and lift off the knees. Keep the knees hovering, but again, chew the gum here. This is really good for hydrating the tissues. We often get tight in the back of the body. Now let the head relax and keep lifting the tailbone. We're into a down dog. Whenever you need to rest, come down to the knees and come to a child's pose. Now, we're just going to pedal through the feet for a moment in our down dog, relaxing the head down. Lots of different options for this movement. Well, we're just thinking of waves and enjoying it. Remember, waves aren't striving too hard. They're going with the flow. Now, from our down dog, you're going to press the heels down. Push the fingertips towards the front of the mat. They're not going to move, but just imagine that. And drop the chest down towards the floor. Now, Focus on the feet. Spread out the toes. Now lift off the heels. As you do that, tighten the muscles in the front of the thighs, draw the belly in and tuck the chin into the chest. As you start to lower the hips down so the hips are in line with the shoulders, we end up in the plank. Drop the knees down whenever you need to. Now from here, we're going to drop the knees. Here we change the position of our tailbone and our head. So we come back, the tailbone lifted, the head lifted. We sit back onto the heels. You push down into the hands, you lift off the knees, lift the tailbone up to a down dog. Now you lift up the heels, tuck the chin, round in the back as you come down to a plank. So it's a plank where you're really engaged in the belly here. So you can have the knees down if you like. You can do this whole thing with the knees down, just like we did in the warm-up. Thanks, Marcel. No, not that being that helpful. Right there. Lifting up the knees, lifting up the hips and rounding to a plank, dropping the knees down. So try and stay soft with this movement. Go at your own pace and try and make it into this more of a wave. So wave never really ends. It's like a loop. Now, if you feel that you've got the strength today, your option is to just have the knees hovering instead of bringing them down. The knees hover, the head lifts. As you take the tailbone back, it comes up. And then we start to get this kind of undulation of the spine, this lovely spinal wave. And this certainly gets you warm, which I'm quite grateful of this morning. So, little chilly. Yeah, no, not chilly. I'll get with your thick coat on. Now let's drop the knees down, sit back onto the heels. Oh, and take the hands together. Let's make figure of eights with the hands, with the wrists. Oh, so it's quite tough work on the wrists. When the wrists start to really feel it, it's maybe a sign that just your core strength is starting to fail. So I shouldn't say fail, but it is struggling. That's when you'll really feel it in the wrists. So, okay, let's bring the fingertips down. Let's lift off the knees, come to a little toe squat. Let's drop the head down, press the heels down, and start to roll up through the spine. Like a wave coming up. The shoulders come up last. Ooh. And just have a little shake here. Let's shake everything out. Just have a little time check. Oh yes, we are good. We're good. Halfway through, hopefully nice and warm. So let's take the feet wide now. As we start, we're going to build that into the sequence that we've been doing this week. So, but with a particular focus on kind of going with the flow, this water energy. So just keeping moving, everything in a loop. So take the legs wide and just shift the weight side to side. Really finding your feet, so grounding first. Okay. Now bring the hands to the belly. Thumbs together at the navel. Fingertips facing down towards the floor. Allow your root to be really heavy, as if you're anchoring yourself in, down into the seabed. On a boat, just drop the anchor straight down. So really strong, stable pose to start with. Now taking an inhale, take the arms out. The palms come together above the head as the legs straighten. As you exhale, take the hands down the midline of the body. The fingertips come to connect to the earth. The palms come back towards the belly, as if scooping something up the midline of the body. Start to lift the head, the backs of the hands come together. We reach the arms up, and then we open the arms out. We take an inhale, we bring the backs of the hands together. We round the back, the toes come forward. As you exhale, open the feet out, open the hands out. And here we've got a really extended back here. Now, one more of these, but this time you're going to open up to a warrior two. So you're going to turn your right foot out and take a lift off the left heel and take the feet so they're at a right angle. So let's just chew the gum here. So maybe lifting off that right toe. Chewing the gum. Arms out and hands outstretched. Now, left hand is going to go onto the wave. And then it's going to open out. And then it's going to come alongside the ear. And the right arm comes underneath. Now extend the arms in opposite directions. Keep looking forward, keep the neck in line with the spine. Now this top arm, you're going to go scoop it over towards the left. Scoop it under, a bit like our 3 cups of tea. Take the arm down to that left leg and send the right arm straight up and look to the fingers for a peaceful warrior. Okay, from here, start to drop the right arm down. The left arm comes over the top. All the way over there. Left heel lifts. And the left hand comes down to the inside of the right foot. Drop that left knee down now. Just make sure both hips are facing towards the right side of the mat. Now turn your right foot out on a diagonal. Start to look towards the back. Turn the right palm towards the sky and take that arm in a full circle as you sink the left hip towards that right heel. We go all the way over the top and bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. And then we're going to sweep this right foot and come out to the side. Sweep it all the way around behind. So join the other knee and sit back to a child's pose, just adjusting the hands in a child's pose. From child's pose, we're going to lift off the hips. We're going to tuck the toes under. Lift the head, lift the tailbone, so you're in a crouching tiger. From here, push down into the hands. Your option is to keep the knees down as you do your wave. So you push down into the hands and knees lift, tailbone lifts, legs lengthen. You start to tuck the chin, you draw the belly in, you float the hips down so they're in line with the shoulders. And we'll do 3 waves from here. So you've got the 3 options. The knees stay down all the time. The knees come down after your plank. Or the knees stay off the whole of the time. Let's do 3 waves just at your own pace. Find your wave. So you can feel like the fluid, the space for the fluid to get in between the vertebrae. Now this next one, either from a down dog or the knees down variation, you're going to lift your right leg up in the air. Give it a shake. Now we're going to bring this knee underneath you and you're going to come across the body, like figure of 8, over towards the back of the mat, across the body, and then land the right foot between the hands. Ah, nice and warm. Now, we're going to pivot on your left foot to land the heel down. Come to the fingertips. And then the left arm lifts. We go over the top. Ooh. And then we just bring this right foot in. Drop the arms down. And just take a moment here. We don't have catwalks going on. This is a peaceful yoga space. Neither of you are lucky. Come on. Just checking in to see how you feel. Can you feel like that flowing water energy going around the body? Good news is we've got the other side to do. So get you nice and warm. Let's find our stable base. Let's get anchored in, rooted in first. So anchor down, root, take the hands to the belly. Imagine, your pelvic floor, you've got that hammock there, and the head, imagine like the spine wasn't there, you can imagine the head kind of just dropping down and being in that bowl. That should put your spine naturally into the right alignment, if you just imagine that the head is in the bowl. Hope that makes sense. And take an inhale. Take the arms up towards the sky, bringing the hands together. Take an exhale and fold down, taking the tailbone back. The fingertips connect down to the earth. Turn the palms back behind you, scooping up. Lifting the head up as you lift the arms up. And then exhale and open the arms out. Inhale and round the back, tuck the chin. Or really extend away. Imagine you moving your arms through water and there's resistance. Exhale and opening out. Inhale, arch and round. And this time, open out towards the left. The feet making a right angle. Open the chest. Take a moment to chew the gum. Lifting off that left foot, left toe. That's good for making sure there's balance on that back foot as well. There's weight on that back foot. We want equal weight on both of the feet as we land in our warrior two. That's right arm. I'm going to take it over. It goes onto the wave. And then open out. And bring the arm up alongside the ear. Left arm comes underneath. Reach away in opposite directions. And smile. Ooh, like hard work. And now bring this arm over towards the right. Take it under. Drop it down into that back leg and shoot the left arm up. The peaceful warrior. Are you nice and fluid still? Not holding any tension, just going with the flow. Flowing, flowing, flowing. Now, start to drop the left arm down. So right arm comes up and over. You start to lift off that right heel. Arm comes all the way over, nice and slow and flowing until you bring the right hand down and drop down that right knee. Once you're down, turn the left foot out on a diagonal. Turn the left palm towards the sky as you look back towards that hand. Bring the arm up and over. Over the top, land it to the inside of the left foot. That left foot is now going to swing around behind. So you come back to sit into a child's pose. As you lift the head, plant the hands, tuck the toes. Look forwards. Lift off the knees, lift off the tailbone. And drop the head. Now we're going to wave. Remember, your option is to keep the knees down, to drop the knees from your plank, or to keep the knees off. Waving down to a plank. You start to lift the head, lift the tailbone. There's where our wave starts. Drawing the belly in. Changing the position of the spine. Really all movement is generated from the spine. 3 waves. And then ending either in a down dog or down onto the knees. Going to lift the right leg up, and the left leg up in the air. Give it a shake. And we're going to snake it underneath you. So it's going to go across. You're going to have to move, then you put that foot there. And it's quite hard. Yeah, excuse me. That way. And cats think it's all for them, don't they? Okay, coming onto the fingertips, so the left foot is planted between the hands. Pivot on your right foot, grounding the heel down. And then we're going to windmill back to standing, lifting the right arm, taking the left arm out. Lifting up your left heel, taking the feet parallel. Bringing the hands down to the hip crease. Drawing the elbows back and really opening up the front of the chest. Take the tailbone back. I'm just going to show you from the side. We're going to fold just halfway down to start with. Slightly tuck the chin, look down towards the floor. Feel the spine long. Breathe into the back of the legs. And then slowly bringing the hands down to the floor and coming down onto the knees. One at a time. Just take a moment here. Just to arrive. So working with water. I feel like we really need to have a mermaid in here, and it'll be quite nice release for the hips here. So our mermaid pose, let's take the hips to that side, left, and open out the legs so that your right knee's kind of nestled into the arch of the left foot. Sit up tall in mermaid, and then let's just see if we can just take the hands in front and just have a little gentle wave side to side. You might not move very far here. You need to adjust this if it doesn't feel nice. If it just feels a bit awful with that right leg behind, you can always take it out to the side or put it somewhere else. Just make sure it's comfy for you. And just drop the head down. And see if you can just guide your tailbone back so the pelvis tilts forward. Drop the head down, just let the head go loose. And don't be concerned with how far you go down, just think of relaxing over that left shin. And slowly walking the hands back. Let's just take a gentle twist from here. So let's take the hands off and spiraling towards the right. Take the hands just wherever they want to land. And take the head to look over the right shoulder. So the spine's long, it's erect, but it's twisting like a corkscrew. And you're not holding tension there. Just a nice soft twist. See if you can relax the buttocks as well from here. Relax the pelvic floor. And relax the jaw. Take the tongue from the roof of the mouth and see how that affects it. Feel the sense of just dropping down into the pose. And then coming around back to face the front. Let's do the other side. So come via sitting on the knees and take the hips this time over to the right, opening out the knees. Mermaid pose. Oh, should we all close our eyes and imagine that we're, all together on the beach somewhere and just like mermaids, or maybe I'm imagining the place where there's, we're on the rocks next to the Adriatic. One day, or Exmouth Beach. I take the hands forward and drop the head down. You might feel a nice sensation in the upper back. You can relax the bottom and just take the tailbone so it extends down towards the floor. Maybe you creep the arms down. Maybe you can come down onto the forearms, but don't strain. Just have the arms wherever it's comfortable for you. And it's an awkward pose to get a little fold in here, so don't be concerned too far how far you go. You can have a little wave side to side as well to help you, find where it's nice for you to be. And walking the hands back up. Just taking the hands off and just spiraling the chest. All very mermaid style, round towards the left. Land in the hands, wherever. Keep the spine long. And looking over the left shoulder. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Relax the buttocks. Relax the belly. Relax the anus. You know what I mean? Inside there. We often hold on tight there. Just notice what happens when you relax that. And the jaw. The throat. release the hands, just spiral back round towards the front, bringing this left leg in and in front. Let's just take a few breaths. Inhaling and gathering all the energy you need in for the day. Exhale and bring the hands down. Feel the wave. I like the water, the arms going through water. Arms are a part of the water. And bringing the hands down to the heart. And from my heart to your heart. Namaste. Have a lovely day. Can't believe it's 1:30 already. Hope you have a lovely one. And if you can, get by some water today. If not, just go right, splash your face with water at regular intervals throughout the day, and that's also going to help. Bye, Sally. Bye.
Chat later.
Bye, Sally.